What's up, podcast community? My name is Cam King, and this is Three Questions Podcast, episode number 66. Three Questions Podcast is something I started based out of CK Collective. CK Collective is my coaching, marketing, advertising consultancy where I work with entrepreneurs and help them grow personally and professionally. And you can find that website at ckcollective.co. And if you want to email me, if you're interested or you're just catching up to the podcast now, my email is info@ckcollective.co or info@ckcollective.com. And then Three Questions Podcast email is threequestionspodcast@gmail.com as well. So with episode 66, I have three really important questions, things that I've been talking about with clients before as well, and things that I really want to share with you guys because these are questions that I am constantly redefining for myself. This is my third podcast that I'm recording today, so I'm going to keep this one moving and grooving. I generally answer a question either user submitted, whether it's from social media or something that somebody has asked me or something that's come out of a coaching call with a client. So these are really standalone podcasts that's designed to help you grow. You don't have to listen to them in order, just listen to the ones that we have. If you're interested in being a guest, obviously reach out to me. Look in here and just DM me, shoot me an email, and we'll get you on the podcast to talk about your business, your perspective, and you can answer anything you want. But the whole premise of the podcast is that we take 5 minutes to answer or dive into each question. You can take what you want, you can leave the rest behind, and then sort of move on with your day in a quick 15 to 20 minutes. So I know I talk pretty fast. I'm also from Boston, and let's hop into question number one here today. So question number one is, what is purpose? And instead of going to ChatGPT and asking for a definition of purpose, I'm going to do my best to answer this for you. But to me, purpose is something that gets you out of bed. It is the thing that you feel instinctively drawn to do. It is the thing that gives you energy. It is the problem that will never, ever fully be solved. It is something that you are constantly striving to do and improve on. It is the thing that underlies the general theme and legacy of your life. And for me, I really, really think that helping other people, empowering other people, learning, growing, driving, pushing, adapting, learning, sharing, all of these things for me have become my purpose. And a lot of that comes out from the content or the businesses that I create. I think that, yes, you should always strive to be the change that you wish to see in the world, but purpose is the thing that gets you out of bed. So for me, with CK Collective, I started CK Collective after I got laid off during COVID from my six-figure advertising job where I was a global new business director for a 600-person agency. And I was satisfied with that job. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say that I had purpose. Okay. Yes, making, that much money a month is really cool. But I think when I started CK Collective, I saw an opportunity to work with entrepreneurs or to work with people that were trying to start businesses or projects. And even though it wasn't as lucrative, and it still hasn't been as lucrative as that stuff, I have drawn more drive and purpose from creating content or taking the lessons that I've learned and putting them into actionable steps for my clients to help them grow their businesses both personally and professionally. And it's improved their lives. I've worked with dozens of clients so far. Whether I work with a client for 3 months or 6 months or a year or even 2 years, like some of them, I know and I can see that their lives are improving. I can see when we have conversations and they open up and they tell me about their challenges, either personally and professionally. And then I'm able to either give them the next book or give them the next piece of wisdom or help them reframe something or give them a tool or a way to process this or run them through an exercise that improves their lives. That is what gives me energy. That is what gives me purpose. And I really, really, really enjoy that. It's not that I'm some sort of guru or I'm some sort of coach and I can vastly improve your life. I don't charge hundreds of dollars. I don't charge what I should right now. I make it affordable for people that want to level up their game and their business and their persona. And it makes me feel good. When I can help others succeed, when I can help others through their challenges, I think that's instinctively part of the major reason why we're here on earth is to do that kind of work. But I love when I work with people and I get to know them and understand them and I can see their lives improve, whether they're making more money, having better relationships, getting the jobs that they want, getting rid of the bad habits, and they just are avoiding some of the pitfalls and things that personally I've been through, or things that I see that they could be going if they didn't have a guide or a mentor or a coach to sort of lead them around that. And for me, that is what my purpose has become. Part of this podcast is also explaining and kind of sharing that a lot of my social media and just tips and tricks. And I feel like when I teach this stuff to other people, it not only reaffirms these boundaries and these habits and these things for me and inspires me to be a better person so that I can be a better coach or a guru or a mentor to my clients, but it helps me attain a new level of information and not only improves my lives, but that of the people around me. And so that to me is what purpose is. It's not always an individual thing. It's kind of a legacy thing that is going to improve the lives of yours and those around you. And I think that that is what we should all be striving for. So comment below, research, and let me know what you think purpose means to you. And if you have one defined for yourself, write that down. Know your why. Look at it every single day, every single week, every single month, and remind yourself, hey, this is my purpose here. Right. And it doesn't always need to be a lifetime or legacy thing, right? Like if you're working at a grocery store, what is your purpose of that position in your life at that moment, right? You can define it in smaller terms too. It doesn't always have to be this lifelong big thing. Okay. There is purpose in small things too. Try to find that, try to define that, especially if you're struggling or don't know why you are where you are in life. Does that make sense? All right. So question number two, I'm just going to hop right into that. Question number two is best way to start work in the morning. So I had this conversation with a client, and for a long time, I had heard of two methods to start your day. Number one was the snowball method, and you can write this down, you can pause this podcast. But the snowball method was essentially you waking up and you achieving a number of small wins in a row. And that number of small wins could simply be you brushing your teeth and then taking a shower and then taking the dog on a walk and then making breakfast or doing 100 push-ups and then making breakfast and then journaling and then getting to work. And you knew you were going to kind of do these things in a sequence. So just like you would roll a snowball down a hill, it starts small and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And because every time your brain checks something off of the list that you know you're going to do, it kind of gives you a hit of dopamine. And so when you know you can get up and all these things are on your list and you're doing them and you start to see that kind of motion and that sort of momentum going, that kind of allows you to do bigger and bigger things throughout the day. That has always been one thing in terms of starting your day that I've thought about that doesn't work for me per se. The other thing is the farm boy method, right? This is method number two. And again, if you're at your desk or you're listening to this, I would encourage you to write this down. But the farm boy method is the same way that people used to get up early and work on farms. And so often what they would do, right, they would have their routines, they would get up, they would milk the cows, then they would go into the fields and do whatever. And they would kind of start with the biggest, heaviest, shittiest thing to do in the morning, right? Shoveling shit out of the stalls or feeding the horses or whatever it is. The dirtiest, kind of toughest thing would get done first thing in the morning. And after that, it's kind of all downhill from there, right? Kind of gets into a little bit easier work. Work doesn't increase throughout that morning. You just fucking get up, you do the heaviest, hardest thing, because theoretically, most people have the most motivation, the most discipline, the most energy first thing in the morning. So, granted, you should be able to do that. It's kind of the same concept in more the modern world that when people get up in the day, they're just going right to the gym, right? They start their day at 5 a.m. and they're lifting the biggest, baddest, heaviest weights first thing in the morning. And then the rest of the day is suddenly somehow easier, you know? So those two methods, both the snowball method and the farm boy method, I've tried both. I primarily prefer the farm boy method, but a third method recently came to me, and it is from a concept from a company called the Flow Research Collective or something like that. But when you sleep, you are experiencing delta and theta brainwaves, which is kind of a sleep state. It's a brainwave of creativity, maybe 800 megahertz, something like that. And when your brain is in those dimensions, in that REM sleep, in those delta and theta waves, what happens when you wake up is it takes about a few minutes, I think 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 minutes for your brain to sort of go from these delta or theta waves into alpha or beta waves, which is work oriented waves. And what most people do, whether you get up and you immediately meditate or you go for a run or you stretch or you take a piss, whatever it is, there's a new theory to getting into deep work and a flow state. And a flow state is where, I'm sure you've all had one if you've ever played sports. I know you've been in that, where everything is like second nature and everything is just working out. Every time you shoot a basketball, it's going in, right? You're just running and moving, and your body's not even working. Everything kind of feels effortless and everything's kind of working out. And this is one of the greatest states that a person can experience. I think it is absolutely incredible. And being in a flow state is very, very cool. But this company called the Flow Research Collective found out that when you get up from these delta and theta brainwaves from sleep, and if you start work within 90 seconds, that's literally like rolling out of bed and hopping to your computer and you start work, your brain will go into a flow state within minutes. And you will be able to get a lot more done, and you will be able to work for way longer and just have less your brain will literally have less interruptions, allowing you to get into that flow state where you're writing those emails or designing that thing, and everything absolutely feels effortless. And I tried this once, and I got up at 3:30 in the morning and I worked for 4 hours straight till 7:30, right? I tested this, and maybe it was that I pre-programmed my brain to do this, but within those 4 hours, I did everything I had to do for that entire day in 4 hours, and I was done by 7:30. And it was probably one of the best days that I've had as of late. And I would highly, highly recommend this to anybody. Plan this out. Get up at 4, get up at 3:30, and just immediately within waking up from 90 seconds, go right into deep work and see how that works out for you. See how it feels once, and then tell me if that's how you want to start. Every single day, I don't know, it might be a little tough, but days where I can do that and I've done that, those have been the best days of my life. I've gotten the most done. So I would say try that. That's 5 minutes for that question. We're already at the end of episode 66 here for Three Questions Podcast. If you want to sign up for coaching and personal coaching and business sessions, I'm happy to help you with a product. I'm happy to help you personally and talk about this stuff and A and B test this with you, for you, and get you to where you want to go, help you level up. Because at the end of the day, when I'm done working with my clients, they make more money, they feel better about themselves, they're having more sex, and they're just making more money. Like it's across the board. I see guys improve within months, and it's awesome. So what I'll say is reach out to me there. ckcollective.co is my website. If you want to come on and be a guest on a Three Questions podcast, you can either submit questions or submit a guest inquiry at threequestionspodcast@gmail.com. This can also be found on Apple, Spotify, YouTube as well. Look for _Three Questions podcast on all social media variants. And yeah, if you need anything else, just reach out to me. You want to network or whatever, happy to have you guys on. And I really appreciate you guys listening to this, all the support that I get. I know a lot of my clients are finding this to be a benefit, and it's not that I know everything. I'm just trying to answer and give you some perspective so that you can go forward in your day in a quick 15 to 20 minute manner. And I really appreciate you guys listening. I'm forever grateful. And it's because of the community and the clients that I've had. It is the reason that I do this. You guys mean so much to me. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next one, and adios.